Hello and welcome to FF1M Classic, where we're looking back at the 1998 season and round 2, the Brazilian Grand Prix, which is quite an appropriate race because I'm being joined by Gui Racing himself, Gui Cramer. How are you doing?
Hello, doing great, James.
Good stuff, and your home race as well.
Absolutely, nice flashback to good old King Ralph in the race where he gained his citizenship and became a national hero.
Absolutely. Missing commentary from the previous race because it was quite an unexpected introduction, but Michael Schumacher won for the old Dodgem team, and having started from pole position, and fastest lap was set by his teammate Mika Hakkinen. This is the season where Dodgem were super competitive. They'd prepared for this one, because normally they would be at the back of the field, but in good humour. And just having a look in the Constructors' Championship, and there's Gui Racing sat with 10 points. In the first race they had Ralf Schumacher take 3rd position, and teammate Jean Alesi in 5th position. Second in that race was Damon Hill for Willow Images, not to be confused with the current Willows team, it's a very different team. There's a look at the circuit, which I'm personally quite a big fan of. How are you? What's your opinion of the Interlagos circuit?
It once used to be crap, then it became good because the rest of the circuits were crap.
I know what you mean. I get the same feeling with Hungaroring. Like, a lot of people thought that was pretty poor, but now it's become really good because lots of other bad circuits have joined.
Mm-hmm.
So qualifying we had Dodgem 1 and 2. The time's quite slow. I suspect it was a wet qualifying session, the 125s. And there's Ralf Schumacher in 3rd position, Jacques Villeneuve 4th and Rubens Barrichello 5th, both driving for Pedersen. And it's quite interesting, there were 3 different tyre compounds, Michelin, Goodyear and Bridgestone. So there's the race start on the old GP3 graphics. And Mika Hakkinen dropping down to 5th position. So not a very good start from him, but Michael Schumacher holding on to the lead. And Ralf Schumacher closely behind Jacques Villeneuve, who drove for you last season, the season before that in 1997.
And I absolutely had no recollection of it. A great driver.
It was a battle between Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve in the end, both your drivers for the championship. And both since replaced by Ralf Schumacher and Jean Alesi, and look how quick Ralf is there.
Just exquisite driving. You can just see the form as he exits corners, approaching his big brother.
And just about to start lap 2, and no fuel gauge on the left-hand side because of the old GP3 graphics, but I seem to remember Ralf was on a 2-stop strategy, which was the correct one to go for here. And then just going through the
One of the things that has not changed too much is the benefit of a 2 or 3 stopper as a strategy.
It seems to be more tyres that play an impact these days rather than the fuel. We were looking at Montoya for Mason Motorsport. Now that's a blast from the past.
One of the great sport ambassadors we've ever had.
Quite enjoyed his Jamie Mason's old news stories back when in the old racing line days.
The good old Aldershot Lion.
And there's another Brazilian.
Insider.
Just having a look at Rubens Barrichello making a move, and now we're looking at Barrichello's teammate Villeneuve, who is witnessing a battle between the 2 Schumacher brothers, and I think this is the moment, if you'd like to commentate on this move.
Oh, this is where it all came together. Ralph making the most of the package, just displaying his brilliance, still developing as a driver. As overall, the gap to the rest of the field, you see, it's just keeps on growing from the top 3 to the rest of the pack. It's supreme superiority by Gui Racing.
And already opening up a 3.2 second lead over Jacques Villeneuve. So Michael must have been very heavy on fuel, and there's another move going into Ferradura. That's on one of my guys, that. Oh, Jean Alesi, that's one of your drivers out.
Yeah, he was very thirsty, needed some ice cream. We had some strong words back in the paddock.
And there'll be strong words for Alexander Wurz as he has a spin at the exit of Ferradura.
Who was he driving for?
He was driving for, Michael Schumacher having a suspension failure there, or a puncture. It was very strange the way the car lost it, and there's Ralph taking the lead. Wurz was driving for, they were known as J Racing, but the old Exolite team, back when they were known as J Racing, and car pulled off in distance. That's one of my drivers, that, and it's Jos Verstappen, who was quite good in the old days. And there's Ralf Schumacher taking Gui Racing's first win of the 98 season. And that was the moment when he became half Brazilian.
The local hero, replacing Rubens Barrichello.
Who himself finished 6th in that race, so a good day for the Brazilians there.
Very interesting results too, the top 5, no repeat cars. And also Mason Mercedes with a surprise finish.
Yeah, they would come on quite strong as the season went along. Montoya had a couple of pole positions and then a win the British Grand Prix, which we'll be getting onto a little bit later on in the series. But there's the championship, Ralf Schumacher leading from Michael Schumacher. Damon Hill 3rd, Jacques Villeneuve 4th, Mika Hakkinen 5th, and there's another Brazilian team, Aquino Plus.
Good old Aquino Plus. I remember them joining back in the day, piggybacking off my engine development and then crushing the competition until they retired.
I think this was their
welcome retirement.
I think this was their last season, actually, 98.
And then Maestro Motorsports didn't last much longer, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, this is the point where they started to drop down because they were quite late in securing the drivers. They had Bruno Junqueira and Marc Genet at that point.
Oh, yes.
So 2 races in, and both Schumachers have won a race each. Next we will move to Europe for the San Marino Grand Prix. We shall see you then for FF1M Classic.